Do you hear that? That's the sound of female reboots not getting made anymore. Remember those female reboots? Ocean's 8, What Men Want, the Ghostbusters remake, and then all of a sudden, they stopped making them. Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's going to sound a little crazy, but I just need you to hear me out because it's true. It was a conspiracy that was sexism spawned and devised by the men who run Hollywood. You see, the businessmen that run Hollywood saw that we, the movie-going public, wanted to see more female-led movies. And as businessmen who are greedy, they could not pass up an opportunity to take our money, which was difficult for them because they hate women. You have to understand, men are very, very good at sexism. The best. Undefeated, really. So what do? They needed us to no longer want female-led movies. So they intentionally made them really, really bad. Don't believe me? Look at every Hollywood female remake. Not a single good one, all of them made by men. Did you see the female Ghostbusters? If you didn't, you're part of the problem. If you did, you have a problem. It's a real catch-22. Well, if you were one of the 14 people in the theater with me on opening night, you would know it stunk. People hated it. It got a 49% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and it lost $70 million. Came $70 million short of breaking even. That's a bomb. And guess who made it? For the most part, men. The director, Paul. Writers, Katie and Paul. Produced by Dan, Allie, Paul, Jesse, Michelle, Joe, Amy, James, Alex, Tom, Eric, Ivan. 10 men, women 5. I don't know about you, but it kind of seems like those men made sure that if they asked, who you going to call? We would all say, not Melissa McCarthy. How about Ocean's 8? Did you see Ocean's 8? Of course you didn't. You're the same bigots from the first question. Well, at the end of the movie, and this isn't a spoiler, you can't spoil something that's already rotten, the women of Ocean's 8 have to call the amazing Yen from the all-male Ocean's 11 to make sure the heist works. So to break it down, the very capable and intelligent women of Ocean's 8 have to call a guy to come save the day. And they didn't even call one of the biggest guys. The amazing Yen was like Ocean 9 of 11. Overall, they didn't make the women look great. They being the men who made the movie. Director, Gary. Writers, Gary and Olivia. Story by Gary. Characters, George and Jack. Produced by Diana, Bruce, Jesse, Susan, Olivia, Sandino, John, Stephen, and Michael. Now look, it's not all bad. Ocean's 8 was very good. I certainly enjoyed it, and a lot of other people did. In fact, Ocean's 8 made more money at the box office than Ocean's 11, both of them, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13. Yeah, Ocean's chicks beat Ocean's dicks. Let's give women 2 points for that one. So now we're at men 21, women 11. Now we're playing ball. Unfortunately, when it comes to balls, men traditionally prefer when women don't have them. Unless you're in Thailand. Here's where the conspiracy truly thickens. Do you know the gender wage gap in this country? Why'd I bother asking? I know you don't know. Well, the last time I checked, it was about 72 cents to the dollar. It's probably changed since the last time I checked because I'm constantly misinformed and the number does change quite a bit and it kind of depends what media outlet is reporting it, blah, 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 blah. But for all intents and purposes, it's about 72 cents to the dollar, which means women make about 72% of what a man makes. Well, if you look at the oceans and you do 8 divided by 11, you get 72.7%. Yeah, that's some Illuminati level. Our gender wage gap is the same gender gap as our wisecracking heist members. Check this one out. If you add up all of the executives, producers, writers, directors, all the decision makers on Ocean's 8, you get 18 people, 13 of them are men. 13 divided by 18, 72.2%. Come on. To be honest, I really had to finesse that one, but I'm counting it. What are you going to do? Look it up? Go to IMDb. Try me. I want to give you one more example. The Hustle. Now, I know you didn't see that one, not because you're sexist, but just because you like your eyes. The Hustle is a remake of the 1988 classic comedy Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And I know some of you purists out there are like, what? They remade Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? How could they do that? I know, my dad's upset too. But for those of you that are unfamiliar with the movie, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is about two con men who compete to steal the money of a very wealthy woman. At the end of the movie, this one's actually a spoiler, at the end of the movie we find out that the woman was conning the men the whole time. The woman wins. That's right, it's a fictional tale. Well, in the reboot, like most reboots, the roles are reversed. It's about two con women who compete to steal the money of a very wealthy man. And if you're following along, you know that at the end of the movie, at the end of the day, at the end of everything, the man wins. And just to beat the dead horse here, director Chris, writers Stanley, Paul, Dale, and Jackie, producers Roger, Ilana, Charles, Robert, Cassidy, Dale, Allison, Susie, Trent, and Rebel. For the score, I refer you to Space Jam. Okay, before some of you get angry about this video and more of you get actually kind of excited about it, I'm joking, obviously. I don't actually think that making female reboots bad is a male-led conspiracy to get us to stop supporting female-led movies. However, that is a movie I would watch. By and large, are studio executives and movie producers still men? Yes. Is it because the system is sexist? Some of you would argue yes, I would argue no. For me, it's more of a product of culture and time than a sexist system. Upper-level management across all industries, not just the movie industry, is traditionally male still. Not to mention, it takes a long time to become a studio executive, and by the time you get there, it takes a long time to get you to leave. And as mad as you want to get that these old white men get to decide which movies get made and which movies don't, the reality is, they're not even in the movie-making business. They're in the money-making business. People seem to forget that. People seem to forget that studios are big businesses now. They have shareholders and annual reports and something called dividends. So they're going to make whatever movie makes money. They don't care what the genitalia is. And that's why we are getting more female-led movies, because we, the movie-going audience, showed an appetite for it. So the studios did start putting money behind movies that starred women, showed women in a better light, and had women running the show behind the scenes. Unfortunately, studios get a better return on franchises and sequels compared to original movies, even if the original movie is female-led. So what did the studios do? They tried to combine the two. They tried to make a franchise or a sequel that was also female-driven. Makes sense, right? However, because of history, almost every franchise is male-driven. So to make a female one, they had to take out the proverbial rib of the male franchise to make a female one, and that is how we got female reboots. So at the end of the day, whose fault is it that we're not getting more and better female movies? Ours. I'm sorry, but we can't blame old white men for not charging us to see a movie that we're not going to pay for. You want more female-led content? You want better female-led content? Watch original female-led Lady Bird, Booksmart, Widows, Harriet, Hidden Figures, I, Tonya, Bombshell. These are all movies with huge female leads, with huge female influence behind the camera that are all good. And that's all that anyone cares about anyway. Nobody actually cares if there's enough women in the movie if it sucks. If you want to change the tide, go see Nomadland or Wonder Woman. Don't go see the Charlie's Angels remake. Don't go see Life of the Party. Don't go see the all-female reboot of the A-Team, which I'm sure is coming. And lastly, sorry for mansplaining. I'm kidding. I had a lot of fun doing this. What can I say? Bye.